Okay, here we go. Now we're live. We're good. How's everyone doing? Thank you all for joining me on this last minute live stream. Shout out to Phil, already urging you guys to smash up those likes. Really do appreciate that as usual, Phil. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is a last minute live stream today. We're seeing more red across the market in the altcoins and more green with Bitcoin. So not really taking us by surprise. I wasn't expecting much, but other than the fact that I strongly suspected that Bitcoin would continue to rise. There wasn't much of a doubt there for me. I wasn't expecting too much for the altcoin market, but it's nice to see these pullbacks because I'm not particularly bearish on them. You know, I don't have faith in any of these projects, but it doesn't make me bearish on them. You know, so seeing these dips in price for me is a good thing. It just means that better prices are probably coming. So I'm happy with that. As we're going along, please let me know how everything is with the audio and video. Can you see me fine? Are you guys enjoying this backdrop with the... I'm so used to saying that we have the Burj Khalifa behind me. Now we're in the Burj Khalifa with this office. Take a look at this beautiful view that I've got behind me. You can't see a lot because I've got some reflections, but it's absolutely spectacular. So very, very happy with this indeed. And let me know if everything is good in the comments today. This was a very, very last minute live stream, so I am expecting that not many people will join in at the beginning, but that's completely fine. This was planned. I just didn't know when I could do it. I was super busy. Anyway, I don't want to waste too much time. Is everyone saying that it's fine? No. Yeah, you can hear and see. Perfect. Okay, so let's get into the Bitcoin analysis. It's been moving absolutely great. I'm very, very happy with its price movements in the last live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. I see all your comments now. Perfect. Thank you all for smashing up the likes if you've done so already. I really do appreciate that, and you know it 100%. The last live stream, I spent quite a bit of time talking about the fact that we were in this rising wedge, and we did end up breaking down. And I mentioned that we could come down to test 52,000 as support and then come back up. We didn't even go that low. We fell down to 53,000, and that's where we got the bounce. This bounce initiated a new rally up to the all-time high, and as of today, we nearly hit it. We topped out at about 57,000, 57,500. So pretty good considering that the all-time high is just a little bit over 58,000. I think that the performance has been good on this chart. The picture is still the same, in my opinion, the same as yesterday. We broke above a key resistance area. We've been forming some beautiful continuation patterns. We've even had a little pullback, and then we've continued rallying higher. All the while, ladies and gents, there's no resistance. There's nothing stopping this thing from blowing off the top. And you know what? If we zoom out a little bit onto the daily chart, it is blowing up. Look at this on the one-day chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 upward candles moving to the upside. Oh wow, I'm showing you. Really? I messed this up, didn't I? I'm so sorry. This was... Now you can tell I had a stressful day. Anyway, yeah, today was super stressful. I'm not even thinking straight. That's so awkward. Anyway, here we go. What was I saying? Oh, you guys heard about the rising wedge. You were watching yesterday's live stream. So I was talking about the... Okay, calm down. Stop it. I know, I'm an idiot. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, I feel so bad. Anyway, so we had this rising wedge, this is what I'm talking about. We got a little bit of a pullback, and then we ended up rising higher. This is the funniest thing ever. No other YouTuber makes these mistakes, only me. That's why I'm 1 in a million. But right here, we have had a series of very, very nice consecutive upward candles here on the daily time frame. So, you know, we have been moving up towards the all-time high. And I need to position this so that I don't make this. It's been a while since I made this mistake in my defense. I've done it. I used to do it a lot, and it's the first time I've done it in like over a month or two. So I'm gonna take that as a win. It's all good, perfect. But yeah, so I was mentioning about how we got this pullback. It didn't even fall down to $52,000, and then we ended up rising up towards the all-time high. And you know, the same thing applies. We don't have any resistance here. You know, we haven't had resistance, in my opinion, since we crossed the $52,000 level. So this is why I zoomed out a little bit further, because even though this does look impressive on the 1 hour time frame, even on the 4 hour time frame, it does look good. But where it starts looking pretty spectacular is on the 1 day time frame, where we have now, like I said, had 6 consecutive days of upward price candles, and it seems to be picking up momentum now. I mean, you know, it had a fair bit of momentum 3-4 days ago, but I absolutely think that this momentum is staying here in a very, very strong way. So you know, is it possible we get a pullback because we've been trending up a lot? Yeah, definitely possible. But you know, the other thing to keep in mind is that as we do keep on pushing these all-time highs, I mean, this wasn't an all-time high, to be fair. Oh yeah, it was, I'm sorry. As we do keep on pushing these all-time highs, when we break above key levels, we can have a lot of consecutive days of upward price action. This was 7 days, to be fair. We're on day number 6 right now, although technically day number 6, but realistically it's only been about 3-4 days of trending upwards. So nothing too huge compared to what we've seen before, and it can just keep going like this continuously, and this is more so what I'm expecting. The thing is, Bitcoin has now consolidated twice, and I don't think it needed to have this consolidation. I was very vocal about this, how I didn't expect this to happen. And the fact that we got this extra consolidation, in my opinion, is actually, I mean, it's good, it's healthy for the trend. It means that we're moving up with very nice pullbacks. You know, the sellers are having a chance to offload their Bitcoins, and crucially what that means, ladies and gents, is that we can have an exhaustion of supply, which is really, really good. It's great for this market. If the supply gets exhausted, it means that we can shoot up. It means that there's only demand left in the market. So this is a good thing, 100% a good thing, just a little bit boring. However, because we're getting this, I think it is playing into some pretty healthy price action, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did just continuously trend on upwards. And that's why the title and thumbnail of this live stream talks about the possibility of hitting $70,000 this week, because I definitely think that Bitcoin has a lot of potential to just absolutely fly by these price levels. And you know, what's absolutely crucial in my opinion here is that we haven't really blown off much, a little bit, 100%, but we haven't seen, you know, really explosive price action. I'm talking about price action like this. We haven't seen this kind of candle yet on the chart. If we got something like that, that'll easily I mean, let's just measure this really quickly. What was the height of this candle? This candle stretches about $4,000 high. I mean, if we got another one right now, that'll easily put us into the low $60,000 area. And I definitely think it's possible, you know, getting a big lightsaber candle like that, followed by another couple candles like that as well, easily I think could send us higher. And the fact that we haven't gotten it yet, you guys remember when I was saying this before, where we didn't get certain bits of price action, that didn't make me think we're not going to get it. It just made me think that we haven't gotten it yet. And that's what I think in this case as well, because this kind of price movement is very typical of a market that we're in right now. So, I mean, I would literally expect it to happen anytime now. I don't see any reason for Bitcoin to find resistance. There is, you know, I mean, to be fair, you could find resistance at the previous all-time high. It would certainly make sense. You know, it shouldn't take anyone by surprise if we find resistance at $58,000. Just because it was a previous all-time high. But Bitcoin doesn't tend to double top like that. You know, a lot of the time when Bitcoin rises up to an all-time high after it's had a correction, it typically tends to blast through it. And it's not just that, it's within, you know, any kind of trend. I mean, we can see, I can show you a lot of examples, you know, just to kind of prove the point. And I'm going to do it just for those of you who are a little bit newer to the market. Shout out to those of you who have tuned in on this very last minute live stream, by the way. Thank you all for tuning in. Please smash up the likes if you're not too annoyed by that earlier camera situation. And what I want to do here is replay the chart and just show you how, you know, a lot of the time when Bitcoin went up to its all-time highs, or just, you know, yearly highs or trend highs, a lot of the time when it reaches a high the second time, it just breaks right through it on a macro scale. So 4 hour time frame was probably not the smartest time frame to use for this. Let me use the 12-hour time frame, just so that I don't bore you guys too much. And the first high I'm going to be comparing this to is actually the one at $11,000, where you can see that the second time on a macro scale that we hit this level, I mean, we already know what happens because this was literally history, but you know, we end up breaking up very nicely. And the next time we get a nice pullback, Let's see. I think a good example would be around the $20,000 range. Bam! Look at this. We hit the 20K range. We actually rise above it, not by much, but we do rise above it. When we break it on a much more macro scale after a little bit more consolidation, bam! That's where we have our liftoff. On the more normal pullbacks, we had quite a normal pullback right here. We topped out at $34,000, fell down to $27,000. As soon as we rose back up, as soon as the price had risen back up to this price level, we just blew straight through it. So this is what I see as being quite likely. The reason I think it's quite likely is because this is coming this price action is coming right after a pretty serious correction in the market. You know, when we had that slightly higher high in when we were breaking 20K in 2020, you know, I think there was good reason to expect that we might end up just hitting a slightly higher high. You know, in fact, I was talking to you about this on this channel. So if you've been subscribed since November 2020, you would have heard my analysis on this, and all of the analysis we carried out on this channel was 100% perfect on this breakout. In fact, we knew that we would break out not on the first, not on the second, but on the third macro attempt of breaking this resistance level. We knew that this was how we were going to break out, because this is exactly how it played out in 2016. So just by having some prior knowledge of the market on this YouTube channel, viewers and I, we were able to very accurately predict where Bitcoin might break out, which was obviously absolutely great. But the point here is that this was after extremely strong price movement in the upside, so it makes sense that we didn't have enough steam to carry on higher. Then the fact that it was an all-time high, which we had for about 4 years, 3-4 years, that also plays a factor in it. But now those factors are not present. You know, I mean, this is coming right after a serious correction in terms of price, a pretty nasty one overall. And it's taken us quite a bit of time as well, you know. So if we measure this from the previous day that we set the all-time high to, let's say we break it tomorrow, just for the sake of argument, that's still 17 days later. So that's still a solid 2.5 weeks afterwards that we end up breaking the all-time high. So I think that's definitely showing that we have quite a bit of, we have had quite a bit of time to correct the trend with time and with price. And that's what really makes me think that, I mean, as soon as we breach this all-time high, like I said, I mean, the key thing to understand in this market is that, in my opinion, it's not that there's a lot of buyers. There are certainly a lot of buyers, I'm not denying it, but I think that for the most part, this market is rising primarily because there are no sellers. And if there's no sellers, then if there's only buyers left in the market, of course it's going to be rising up. But it doesn't necessarily mean that an absolute boatload of people are trying to buy Bitcoin. I think it just means that no one's trying to sell it. And I think that's going to become even stronger if we end up rising higher. You know, the other thing to keep in mind is there's going to be naysayers, things like that, people taking up short positions. How do you close a short position? You got to go long. And I don't see any pullbacks happening here. I want to outline the 3 primary possibilities that I see on this chart. You guys know what I think is most likely. I think we're just going to shoot through it. But the other key possibility on this chart is that we set, in my opinion, just a slightly higher high, and then we end up retracing down. If we did that, again, the only support level I'm seeing for Bitcoin would be $50,000 to $52,000, which is this green and blue box. I think that's where Bitcoin might end up getting a nice bounce from. I'm sure by now we have some Ichi support there. Bam, yeah, there we go. Exactly 100% accurate FORFLIES style. We've got our Ichimoku cloud lining up with these boxes as well right here. So definitely proving to be a little bit of support on the way back down if we do crash into this level within the next 5 days. So I think it's certainly conceivable, certainly sounds possible that the price can rise up above the all-time high, and then within the next 5 days, I mean, you know, the rise could be slower, it could be something like that. It doesn't really matter, but the point is, within 5 days, if we ended up falling back down to $52,000, I think that would make a lot of sense for this market. That's the second primary, the second key possibility that I want to outline. Number 3 is that we get rejected at the previous all-time high and we don't even set a higher high. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be very surprised if it did. I mean, I can't say I'd be surprised because it's an all-time high, but, you know, I don't think that there's a good chance of that happening. I think that there's a much higher chance of us setting a new all-time high. Whether we do it with a lot of strength or with a little bit of weakness is up in the air. I can't be so sure about that, but I definitely think we're more likely to just shoot right through that level. Thank you all for tuning in. I see a comment here saying that this is the best YouTube I've seen to cover Bitcoin. Thank you very much, Stephen. Obviously, we're super grounded here. We're outlining each of the possibilities because I am a real trader, and if I don't take that into account, I'm going to lose money, and there's very real consequences for that. So you're getting very real, unfiltered analysis. There's no space for emotion on this YouTube channel because it would lose me money. So I just wouldn't be able to stick around if I was an emotional analyst or anything like that. Let's see what else we have here in the comments. Any thoughts on the stimulus being passed in the short term? Biden signs it on Friday. I'm really surprised by this because the US dollar has been doing very well. It's a little bit lower today, but I think it's been showing a lot of strength in the face of these stimulus packages. I don't really know what's going on. I spoke to Tone Vase about it, and he had some interesting thoughts, which I'll talk to you about later on in this live stream if one of you guys remind me about it. But I don't have huge thoughts on that at the moment. I think that the trend with Bitcoin is clear, so that's what I'm looking at. I also want to make another point. I just want to say it again, just for the sake of clarity, that I actually think Bitcoin I think Bitcoin is much more likely to shoot up than it is to just set a slightly higher high and then crash back down. And the reason I don't think this is likely is because we've just had a correction. If we did end up rising a little bit like this, and then in fact if we rose up a little bit more like that and then we set a slightly higher all-time high, that's where I would start to think that actually this next crash could happen. But the fact that we not only corrected with a deeper price correction than this arc I just drew, I mean this arc would mean that we only corrected at most by what, like 9%, but instead we corrected by 26%. So that's orders of magnitude of a deeper correction than my random drawing here. And not only did we correct a lot more in terms of price, but also more with time. So when we get these kind of corrections, this is definitely what leads me to believe that the next moves have space. They have headroom to rise up really, really nicely. Crucially, you can almost start to paint a bit of a box in this range. If I throw on the VPVR, I'm sure that we can visualize that pretty easily. Bam, right there. Exactly where I outlined the box to be. The VPVR showing us that the point of control on this chart is roughly around this level, which is between $46,000 and $48,000. This $2,000 range where the VPVR is spiking. Now, for those of you who don't know, the VPVR is an indicator you can use to visualize where Bitcoin has traded with time. More specifically, how much volume of Bitcoin has been exchanged at what prices. And the key point here is that at any point where the VPVR spikes, it basically means that it's an area of interest. It's an area that the market gravitates towards. And this often in a bull market, which we are in right now. Obviously, you guys know what bull markets are, but in case you don't, it means when the market is rising. In a bull market, we will tend to get these kind of points of controls on the chart, which are accumulation ranges. So you've got smart people, wealthy people with big money buying Bitcoin slowly at these price levels, buying each of these dips, buying during these consolidations, buying these little dips up, averaging a good entry price. And I don't think that buying Bitcoin at any of these price levels is smart anymore. I think that the only smart time to buy Bitcoin was before $12,000, and that's just me. Maybe I'm like an old dog or something, but I've been saying that for a long time. However, I gotta be honest, that's still a solid 20% gain in about 5 days. So you're not getting that in real estate. So you might be lucky to scrape 7% in a year, and this quite simple analysis would have netted you 20% profit in under a week. So it's very, very powerful. There's a lot going on here, and that's what makes me quite optimistic about it. The fact that we did have some consolidation around here. Now in hindsight, it looks like there's been pretty clear accumulation in this range. These are the kind of things that excite me with the trend. If you're interested in learning about the VPVR, then you can type this into YouTube and you can watch my free tutorial on the VPVR indicator. In that video, I'm teaching you how to use this, like how to get it, what it means, how I use it, my best practices, things like that. This video, along with anything else as far as tutorials go, is part of the wider FORFLIES Academy course. So we've got 2 versions of them, and if you're interested in finding out some of the information about them, then you can follow these steps on screen to message me directly on Telegram. These 3 clicks with no downloads, no signups required, take you less than 30 seconds. You can just pause the live stream right here and we can and you can ask me for information on that. We can send it over to you if you are interested in learning about how to trade, how to analyze with a little bit more structure the way I do it. I don't do it in a conventional way, as you can tell, but in my opinion, it's obviously the best way. If you want to learn the way I do it, then the steps to join our group and things like that are on screen right here. So moving back to the chart, the fact that we have had a nice correction is what to me indicates that I think we should be able to just fly straight up. I would like it if we were moving faster already, but I'm willing to give the trend a little bit more breathing time until we reach the all-time high. If by the time we reach the all-time high, we're still not flying upwards and having a massive, you know, like $2,000-$3,000 candle every hour or something like that, I will start to get a little bit worried about the strength of the trend. But I will also have to consider that maybe now I'm overanalyzing. So for the most part, the overall take-home message for me is to leave this the fuck alone, because I think it's doing amazingly on its own. Don't need me to interfere with it. And as far as the kind of positions I'm looking to take on, I will be looking to leverage some positions up on here to multiply, you know, what could be quite a boring gain, turn it into a very, very nice profit. And as usual, VIPs have continued to receive all the updates on how I plan to trade this market. Speaking of that, by the way, CHSB has been doing absolutely beautifully. You guys heard me talking about CHSB token just a couple of weeks ago, just like 1 or 2 weeks ago. I was talking about it when it was at roughly 90 cents. So it's now hit $1.50. I said yesterday that I think it's going to hit $1.50, so that was pretty easy. And we're at $1.52 today, peaked at $1.55. And the thing that's important for me about SwissBorg token is oh, by the way, it's pumped up by, with these two arrows, it's pumped up from 30 cents to $1.50. And the last time it traded at 30 cents was the end of January. So that's less than 2 months ago. It's about a month and a half ago that SwissBorg was trading at 20% of its current price. So it's done a 5x in less than 2 months. That's super impressive. But what's more impressive than that, in my opinion, is the fact that they're Swiss regulated. They're regulated in Switzerland and Estonia, I'm sorry. So they're regulated in 2 EU countries, and it's not like they're shady countries either. They're very, you know, well-respected countries that they're regulated in, where they're operating their token and they're staking and yielding platforms and things like that. They have a great product, and I need to see, am I allowed to mention something? Because there's a conversation I had with a member of their team today, but I need to know if I'm allowed to talk about it. Yeah, so they've got they're releasing, they're actually limiting some of what their premium users can use, and they're going to be generating hype about it by adding a countdown for where they're going to be removing access to one particular feature forever. So I don't know the specifics about it, but the point is these guys are amazing at engineering hype for their token. The fact that, like, if this happened alone, I would be super suspicious, because they shouldn't be doing that. You know, like with a normal project, they should be focusing on their product. But the fact that they're regulated is what kind of reels me in. Like, okay, it's not easy to get regulated in Europe. I don't know how many of you guys have ever dealt with any level of compliance in your life, but it's bloody difficult. And if at that point they're still able to operate things smoothly, then generate as much hype as you bloody like, because you know, I know that you're going to be doing it legally, and that's what's really exciting for me. But what's even better than that, in my opinion, and the reason I invested in SwissBorg, I mentioned this only a long time ago, I didn't say it recently. What made me invest in SwissBorg was actually the fact that it's been outperforming Bitcoin. Any shitcoin is going to be rising in this market. Very, very important. You know, I mean, for the most part, you know, Cardano, bcash, any of these coins have risen. Every one of these coins have risen nicely within this market. But how many of them have outperformed Bitcoin? And that's what's important for me. Not only that, but by how much have they outperformed Bitcoin? You know, for instance, since the end of January, SwissBorg has outperformed Bitcoin by a factor of 3 times. It's up by 190%. So a factor of 3 times SwissBorg has outperformed Bitcoin, which means you would have made a shitload of money on Bitcoin and you would have made 3 times more than that on SwissBorg. And that's where this investment started looking really attractive to me. So I don't have any comments about buying now. I was very vocal about how I saw a beautiful accumulation range back in the 90-cent range, and I wouldn't be a buyer at this level at all. This is a new all-time high. I don't buy at all-time highs for investments. That's just stupid. But in my opinion. I mean, maybe not to you, but this to me was the clearest accumulation range other than this one right here. This is the one I bought in. This one was the clearest one that I'm seeing, and from there it's already up 50%, so I think that looks pretty good. This is only where I'm looking to take profits, but only a little bit, because the fact that it's risen so much tells me that I think there's still a lot more juice left in this. I think that it can rise a lot higher, and crucially, they've still got the big product releases that haven't even happened yet. So this, my friends, is just speculation. I mean, this is just people getting excited. So if that's happening before the product is even released, and there's, you know, before they add more utility to actually use their token, that's impressive to me. That's really, really cool. So that's why I'm expecting it to rise higher. But nonetheless, I've made a beautiful 5 times gain since I entered. So I'm definitely going to be taking some more profits on this position. As usual with all the trades, I mean, this was more an investment, so it wasn't really talked about much in VIP. But for all the trades I'm making, where they're a lot more interesting than this SwissBorg position, I'll be sharing the details of that inside of VIP. So if you want to join the group where I tell you all about the real trades I'm making, I mean, I don't really make investments. SwissBorg was a very large exception. I talked about it publicly from the beginning, but you know, if you want to learn about how I trade the market regularly with these more upbeat price action moves, then VIP is where it's at. You can join it by following these steps on screen. And if you're wondering where I'm trading these markets, not SwissBorg, but Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the like, I am trading these markets on Phemex right here. This is an exchange that does not require KYC. There's no KYC required, which means they're not going to ask you for your passport or anything like that. If you are in the US or similar territories, you will need a VPN to access this exchange, and I cannot endorse that. That's up to you. But they've got a lot of pairs. Somebody asked me where I trade Cardano. Bam, right here. It's an option for me. I believe also Bitmex, although I don't really use Bitmex much anymore. They've got Link. They've got all the cool coins that you probably want to trade on leverage. They've just added 1 or 2 more, which I forgot the names of, but definitely moving quite well. So if you want to find out where I'm trading, this is a great option. They're much more stable than an exchange like Binance. I mean, Binance is cool, they work very well, except for the fact that they have downtime all the time. Phemex is a lot more reliable than that. So at the very least, it's important, even if you don't use Phemex, to have a backup. And that's why I always advocate for signing up to as many exchanges as possible, as long as you think they're safe, and then testing them out and seeing what you like. So if you're looking for one to test right here, if you're looking for the next one for you, Phemex is obviously a great option. And crucially, if you do sign up with the link in the description that I've got for you, you stand to gain a trading bonus of up to $600 when you deposit some Bitcoin. So you can use that free money to click around on the buttons and understand what's going on with the exchange. Also, if you want to watch my tutorial on Phemex, then like with any other tutorial I have, type in the name of the company or whatever, the token, the indicator, and then type in my name. And if I have a tutorial on it, you will see it. Put this into YouTube. Someone's asking me, is SwissBorg on Binance? No, it's not. And a lot of people want SwissBorg to go on Binance. Obviously, that would be very cool for my investment, but I don't really care too much. Binance is Binance. I mean, I don't like Binance, so I don't want to give them more power by asking them to do something. But yeah, there we go. So something very, very important I wanted to cover there. So if you guys have been enjoying this analysis where you've seen me make, you know, like an easy profit there of you know, like 5 times on SwissBorg and even 50% just in the past few weeks, then please do hit up the likes if you have found these videos useful. If you do find this analysis helpful in your trading and investing or anything like that, it's always much appreciated. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Just want to very quickly go over why I think we can go to $700 again, but mainly, you know, for me, it's just the fact that Bitcoin right here, I think, is super likely to have some of those lightsaber candles again that just absolutely shoot up, especially after we break the all-time high. That's where I would be expecting it to happen. And if that does happen, I think it could just mean that we fly straight through the 60K range. And the reason I think that's super likely is because we have actually, you know, I mean, consolidated for quite a while. And to put this into perspective, as soon as we broke the 40K range, it didn't actually take very long until we nearly hit $60,000. I mean, we broke $40,000 right here on the 8th of February. And I mean, it took us less than 2 weeks. I mean, just under 2 weeks in order to rise to nearly $60,000. So if we do something like that again now and we break above the all-time high, I definitely think that, you know, I mean, it could be less than a week that we hit $70,000. I think that's where this gets really, really exciting. So yeah, I'm definitely very, very happy with how it's been going. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything as well. I do want to cover the MRI indicator with you, which is Tone Vases indicator, but not yet. I'll do this later on in the live stream, just because I don't want to confuse anybody who doesn't understand it. I have a crucial update to give you about one of the bearish pieces of analysis I gave you yesterday. It's now turned into something very, very, very bullish. So let me show this to you really quickly. This is going to absolutely make you guys super excited. I showed you a rising channel that looked something a little bit like this, more like this. This was a very bearish sign. It's not a very bearish sign. In fact, I told you why it's not a bearish sign in my opinion, because it would imply much more long-term downward price action, which I did not expect. But what we've done now is we've given it that rejection kiss right there. We ended up breaking up above this resistance area, and you can see how this diagonal line, I mean, look, it's got quite a few touch points here. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of diagonal lines. I prefer horizontal lines and boxes because they're a lot less subjective, which in my opinion makes them more accurate. But this one definitely has some validity to it. I mean, it's been interacted with quite a bit. It's had some crucial opens, closes, wicks, things like that. So I think it's definitely very important. And the fact that we ended up rising above this line and then came back down to find support here, I mean, it's always, in my opinion, the ultimate show of a bearish trend turning bullish. And I mean, it wasn't even bearish to begin with over here. So yes, this was a potentially bearish sign, but I told you why I wasn't worried, and now you know. So now you know, actually it's no big deal at all, and actually we've done something super bullish with it. So and actually the other thing I want to show you before I move on is we formed something very similar to this before. We did it right here. So take a look at this. If I draw another rising wedge that looked just the same right here, Bitcoin entered a bit of a rising wedge, which would definitely imply that we're going to trade downwards. That's typically what these patterns imply. When the trend slowly moves upwards instead of quickly, this kind of price action tends to imply that we're going to break down quite aggressively, you know, and that's how it works in conventional markets like you know, gold or stocks and indices and things like that. You know, that's typically what it means. But right here, you can see the same thing where we ended up pumping above this level, coming down to test it not once, not twice, but thrice, and then ending up rising higher. So on a macro scale, we've come down to test these kind of, this isn't macro, but on a slightly larger time scale, we have come down to test these resistance areas as support twice now. And you know what makes this even more important to me, in my opinion, is the fact that it's recent. You know, the market will always have certain characteristics which are very important to pay attention to, and they're usually a little bit different, so you need to know them, you need to be able to identify them quickly and then kind of use them. And in this case, I think what we're starting to see is that the price is coming down to test old levels of resistance as new areas of support. It's doing that only on small time frames. On macro time frames, we're actually not dropping as low as I would like us to drop, and there we have, you know, a little bit of disagreement where on the smaller time frames we do come back down to fully back test levels, but on large time frames we don't. And I think that can be explained by the fact that there's just a lot of excitement in the market, and I think that's what's you know, not allowing Bitcoin to really drop too much. Someone's asked me what my thoughts on eToro are. Obviously eToro is a joke, but I mean, it's functional and it works. You know, if it depends on what you're looking for. If you are looking for something more serious, you know, where you actually plan on trading with anything that's above, I don't know, like $2,000, for example, you know, like that's serious money after that point, right? So anything serious, even above $1,000 is serious money. You know, I don't see why someone would use eToro. You need to get to somewhere that's a little bit more functional and reliable to use. eToro exchanges like Binance, they will have downtime, they will have problems, no one's going to help you because they're big companies and they don't need your client support. An exchange like Phemex, which is relatively new compared to these guys, they will have to care about their customers more. And not only that, when you do sign up with the link in the description, which is my link, I can also escalate your issues, which I've done in the past, you know, for viewers who had issues. Someone would come to me, for example, with an issue about withdrawing money, and I would be able to escalate it much further, much quicker, purely because I have an inside contact in that exchange, and that allows you to get some special treatment as well, do things a little bit faster. So even if you don't own Bitcoin, by the way, you can buy Bitcoin on this exchange. You can right here buy crypto. You can just connect your credit, debit card, Apple Pay, bank accounts. You can do it all through Phemex. So there's a lot of possibilities here, and by signing up with the link in the description, you're going to get my support in case you ever have a problem, and you're going to get a free deposit link. You're going to get free money to play with when you deposit your Bitcoin onto the exchange as well. So another key benefit for you if you're looking for somewhere a little bit more serious to trade. Obviously, there are many alternatives if you don't want to use this, but right there, I'm leaving that up to you. As we go on, please start dropping your questions. I'm ready to start going through them. I'm also going to make sure that I'm not missing anything with my core analysis. There's also a small possibility, I think, of a bull flag forming on Bitcoin right now. I don't want to talk about this too much because I am going to start over analyzing the trend, and that's obviously no good, but it's just the fact that Bitcoin has trended up now and slowed down a little bit. It could enter, I think, you know, a very short-term bull flag where, I mean, it ends up breaking out just within the next, you know, 12, 16 hours. It wouldn't really surprise me too much. And I definitely think that that can be pretty good. I think we got a really good question here in the comments. Chengpin asking, Chengpin, by the way, you always ask amazing questions. It's like the second time I'm complimenting you on that, so thank you. How do you distinguish a rising wedge and an upward trend? They both have higher highs and higher lows. Very good point. So the way I would do it is by looking at the aggression, or I guess a more accurate technical word would be the momentum, or just the gradient with which the price is rising. So let me break this down for you on another chart. And actually, I just want to make sure everyone understands this question. So we have two things with the price. In this case, this person is asking, how do we tell when the price is just generally trending upwards or when we're trading in a rising wedge? Because they both have the same key. I think that was a bit of the nut that I ate a little bit before this live stream. They both have the same key characteristics of having higher highs and higher lows. Really, the key distinguishing factor for me is how aggressive they are. So this makes it really easy to spot them. This is where the trend is moving, and it's moving quite aggressively. Now, granted, the trend is still technically moving in the direction of the trend in this rising wedge. So it is still technically moving, but with a lot less aggression. And you can, I mean, look, I just put these two lines side by side, and you can see, you know, one line is clearly much steeper than the other one. So, I mean, you tell me where we're trending and where we're forming a rising wedge. You know, I think that's where it's quite obvious. You know, you can't really draw a pattern like this on a move like this. I mean, you can try, and you probably could, but, you know, it wouldn't look real. It wouldn't look right. So that's where I would draw the line. You know, when we're actively breaking levels, we're moving in the direction of the trend, we're, you know, potentially you know, trending quickly in a market like this is when you can tell quite easily, you know, look, we're clearly trending up over here, but we're starting to show some indecision here. This is where we've entered a rising channel. You know, I mean, this is also technically a rising channel, but see, the thing is, this rising channel does not indicate uncertainty because it's moving quickly, it's moving with confidence. Look, this does not indicate uncertainty. This one does, because we've started to lose momentum. And that's how I would distinguish them. So thank you for that very good question. And I think that's very important. So I think it's very easy just by eyeballing it to be able to notice where these are. I mean, this is clearly where the market is trending up, clearly trending up again over here, although we did end up having a pullback. And from here, it's trending up very, very nicely. Up over here, stops trending up with this little pullback, bull flag situation, starts trending up again. And we know this because we're conclusively setting higher highs and higher lows. In these kind of cases, we'd be doing it very slowly. And so, you know, you would need to how do I say, you would need to apply this into the context of what the trend is already. Someone's asking, do I need a VPN for Phemex? Depends on where you live. If you're not in the United States, then most likely no, but it depends on your country, and I can't endorse that. I mean, everyone I know does it, but I can't endorse that. Are there any other exchanges with much lower fees than Coinbase? Yeah, there's a lot, Frankie. I wouldn't be surprised if the features where you can buy Bitcoin on Phemex has lower prices than Coinbase. Coinbase is super high just because it's the retail. It's the first go-to door for a lot of people. Am I gonna trade that move? Which move are you talking about? I have a feeling I haven't entered a trade for a little while. It's been over a week. I have a feeling I will do something very soon though. And by the way, on the note of VPN, so a lot of people have told me that actually they are in the US and they don't use a VPN with Phemex. The risk is yours, but it's not difficult to get a VPN. I mean, you could have one within the next 2 minutes. It's not difficult. Obviously, the best VPNs are paid, but what, like $2 a month? If you can watch this video, you can afford a VPN. They're not difficult to get. Good ones are not difficult to find either. I mean, any VPN is good. Literally any one that's popular. NordVPN is super popular. ExpressVPN. These are all the popular ones. Any of them are gonna work well. If you really care, then you don't even need to hear this from me because you already know how to research them. Let's see if I can talk a little bit about Ethereum. Hasn't been moving very well today compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin really has been stealing all the sunshine here. Ethereum's just trading in a bit of a bull flag, but I'm not worried about that. I still think that's a very, very healthy place for Ethereum to be. It's just kind of consolidating sideways before I think it's getting ready to make its next leg up. It could very well happen if and when Bitcoin sets a new all-time high, which could potentially be today, tomorrow. So I definitely think that once Bitcoin kind of lifts off and it breaks above some of its crucial resistance right here at about $58,000, I think that's where Ethereum could really catch wings as well. For the most part, I don't have much more analysis to give on Ethereum because I think that it is just at the mercy of Bitcoin. I want to take a quick look at coins like Cardano as well before I continue going through your questions. It's just continuously getting sold off, ladies and gents. And like I said, I was expecting a little bit of a deeper correction just because we've already corrected so deep. It looks like Cardano needs to find good support before it can bounce up again. One of the key things I want to say is that when it forms price action like this, it's very subject to pump very quickly. This happens a lot in markets like this, so the difficult part is timing it. I mean, we could pump up like that now, we could pump up like that, another 20% lower. I don't know, but it's definitely super doable, and that's something that I'm keeping an eye on. But for the most part, right now, I still don't think that we've hit that crucial support area. It could even be as low as 1700 Satoshis down here. So obviously that would be something to keep an eye on as well for Cardano right here. So not much for me to say on this, unfortunately, other than I told you so when I said that Cardano can crash massively. And just to put this into perspective for you all, Cardano is now down by 36% in 11 days. So that's bad. That's really bad. But again, I said at the beginning of the live stream, this kind of stuff doesn't really bother me because I think that there's a lot of juice left in this market, and this only means that better prices are yet to come. That's what I'm expecting. So thank you all for your questions. We'll continue to go through them, and thank you all for tuning in today. We're up to 800 viewers. I think the channel's experiencing that shadow ban again, although it could be that I'm not really putting too much effort into my title and thumbnails again, so I should probably do that. But if you are enjoying this live stream, then please do hit up the likes. If we can get it up to 500 on a low-key live stream like today, that would be absolutely great. I don't have a lot of time left, but I will start planning to wrap up this live stream. So as I go on, ladies and gents, if you would like to join our free Telegram group, then you can do so by clicking on the first link in the description down below. And if you're looking for VIP content where you can see exactly what I'm trading in real time, then the steps to join are on screen as well. We've had some beautiful successes with it inside of the VIP group lately. Again, I want to show you this beautiful, bam, 200% profit coming in very recently, making a very nice profit right here. Another one as well right here, plus 170%, plus 90%, performing extremely well on Binance token right here. So this person absolutely killing it inside of our VIP group. We have a lot more stories like this, people who've recovered really big 30,000 euro losses, recovering most of that inside of a day after joining VIP. So obviously this is super risky trading. I'm not saying this was a good idea, but I'm showing you that someone's done it and it's worked out very well. You know, another guy over here feeling ashamed to show me his profitable trades because they weren't triple-digit trades, and that gives you an idea of how common certain members in VIP have been able to hit these kind of numbers, and it's all with the same content available to each person inside the group. So another person right here who's new to the market, has never traded in the way that I trade, has gone through our tutorials, gone through our exclusive content where I teach you all exactly how I do this stuff, and pulled a 52% profit on the first long position that this person ever took. So this was obviously super impressive. If you want to find out how these people have been able to pull this off, and maybe you want access to VIP where you can watch me trade in real time alongside one of our courses, so you can learn the theory of what I'm doing and watch the practical of me implementing it, that is an absolutely killer combination. The way you can find out how to join is by following these steps on screen. Click on the first link in the description down below, then click on the @FORFLIES button, and then click on send message to ask me how to join VIP. And we'll give you all the information about that, again, with the best prices we've ever done. So let's continue going through your questions. Can you buy SwissBorg inside the US? Yes, you can, but not on their app. If you're not in the US, you can buy SwissBorg with the link in the description where it says join SwissBorg. It looks like I've answered pretty much all the questions. If you do have a question, then please, as usual, tag me. Write my name in the comment, so that I know that you're asking a question and that you're not just leaving a random comment. Where to buy SwissBorg? So yeah, link in the description, it says join SwissBorg. And you can download their app on Android or iOS. You can buy it on that app. You can buy it on HitBTC. You can buy it on Kraken, if I'm not mistaken. It got quite a few options, good options as well. You mentioned that you discredit any trader that states what price we will or won't go with confidence, yet your buddy Tone Vase always has exact price targets and is always wrong. He's not always wrong, but he has exact price targets because he's American, and Americans, they think that their opinions are facts, and it's super annoying. Like, I even told this to him to his face yesterday. I said this right in front of him. We were having dinner, and I said this is like a super annoying trait of American people. They state opinions as facts, and the problem is no one really calls them out for it. So educated people who are respected in their fields of expertise, people start taking their opinions as facts because of this, and it's become so normal, and that's just not okay. So I don't like that, and it's okay to disagree with certain things that people you like do. You know, it's like, on the other hand, if you don't like Donald Trump, it's also okay to acknowledge that he's a good businessman. He's a great manipulator. You know, like, you can credit people for good things that they do, even if they're bad people, and equally you can discredit people for bad things they do, even if they're good people. There's nuance to these things. We're humans. You know, I mean, we can be nuanced. And yeah, I think that's important. What do I think of Litecoin? I have no thoughts on Litecoin. It's very boring. Just reading these comments here. What was Tone Vase's view? His view on what? I forgot what I wanted to say about Tone Vase. What was it in reference to? Because I forgot what it was. My Cardano analysis is always the best. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any opinions on Brat or Brave? Nope, sorry. Have I ever considered automating my strategy? Would it even be possible? It would be very possible. Certain parts of it are super easy to automate, the problem is that when you automate something, you remove nuance from it. And that's where my advantage as a human trader is. A bot will enter a trade based on certain conditions being met, and that's it. And for the most part, that's probably better than a human trader. It's better than most human traders, but it will not protect itself from bad trades that look like all the boxes are checked. That's where a human comes in. For that reason, I have never seriously considered automating my strategy. Other people have tried, and it works sometimes, but not enough. So I don't like it that much. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan. And I don't have any plans to do it. Certainly would be possible, I just don't think it would be very good. Most of the dollars in the Biden stimulus sent outside the country means people... that's politics, I'm not going to go into that. Yeah, so the view on inflation, this is what I said Tone Vase had an opinion on, was that not necessarily inflation, but the dollar index, was that these this lack of inverse correlation that we have now, like before it used to be that every time the dollar went up, Bitcoin went down. Every time Bitcoin went up, the dollar went down. Now they're both rising up, you know, and I mentioned this to Tone asked for his opinion, and he said, well, look, I mean, this is more of a macro tool, you know, so people are overanalyzing it, and that makes sense. It's just that, and I said this to him as well, it's just that what I forgot, it's been extremely accurate to look at that inverse correlation over the recent months, and beyond that, I'm not so sure. I mean, that's kind of why I stopped paying attention to it, because it's clear that I can't do very good macroeconomic analysis, and I've never claimed to. That's not my area of expertise. That's why on a 2-hour live stream, it might only take up 5-10 minutes of screen time, because it's just not something that I'm qualified to talk about with confidence. Not qualified to talk about anything, by the way, just in case you didn't know. Facts only that Americans like to boss you around. You're amazing. Thank you very much, Martin. Yeah, it's important to talk with nuance, and Tone Vase is American though, right? I don't know. I think he is. He lives in America. Well, he doesn't live in America, but he's pretty commonly in America. I see some of you guys asking for information about VIP, by the way. So if you're interested, I'll leave some of these screenshots on screen, and you can take a read through them, pause the video, and then I'll also give you the steps to join if you are curious. Let's see what other questions we had here, though. FORFLIES, can I give an example of how to ladder position sizes up? On video? No. How do I do that on video? Well, look, it's fairly simple, actually. You know, you would set a position, you know, like, okay, I wanna go long on Bitcoin. Right now the current price is what, 56,000. I wanna go long on Bitcoin at 50,000. So, and I want to go long with $100. So I can set an order to buy $25 worth of Bitcoin at 50,000, $25 at 51,000, $25 at 52,000, $25 at 53,000. And that would be laddering a position. That's it. That's what laddering means. If that still didn't make sense, because this was a super, you know, like off-key explanation, then I think you are already enrolled into one of our courses. I don't know, I'm just going off memory. My memory is pretty bad, but if I'm not mistaken, you might be enrolled into one of our courses, and we describe it fully in great detail. So once again, if any of you guys want that and you're not already in, then a lot of VIP members get those courses for free, depending on which plan they take. So just ask us for the information, and let us know what you're dealing with, and we'll make something work for you. I was going to talk about Tone's comment on the US stimulus money. So not necessarily the stimulus, but yeah, just this long-term macro US index versus Bitcoin and assets correlation or inverse correlation, and the fact that it's decorrelated now. Like we don't actually have that correlation anymore, or we haven't for about a week or two. That's where his opinion was, this is just a blip on a long-term relationship between these two assets. That's basically what he said. How many percent of Bitcoin do I recommend to keep even if Bitcoin is down? I don't sell Bitcoin when it's down just because it's down. I only sell Bitcoin to take profits on my long-term investments. How do I analyze Cardano against Bitcoin? Why do I analyze Cardano against Bitcoin? Why not against the US dollar? I do both. I'm primarily interested in Bitcoin analysis because if it's performing better than Bitcoin, I'm interested. If it's not performing better than Bitcoin, I'm not interested. I would prefer to be in Bitcoin. These are the kind of things that the team that I have behind me in the FORFLIES group, this is what they tend to handle. So I don't look at them too much. I'm primarily interested in Bitcoin and Ethereum, just because I see them as being the safest assets to trade. Most crypto YouTubers are not American. That's a very good thing. I love you all, but you're crazy. Just bloody crazy. Good explanation. Thank you very much. You are enrolled into the course. Yeah, so I'm glad my memory served me correctly there, first of all. I do remember your names. And it's getting super difficult now, by the way. We're at like 71,000 subscribers. So thank you all, by the way. If you haven't already subscribed, then please do so. Tone is from New York. Yeah, that explains his accent. He's got the really cool one that's like kind of Italian, right? I think. I don't know. But yeah, so I can't remember which module it is. So by the way, if you're curious, the way we structured the course was this is not like any other course. That's obvious, but it's not like any other course you would typically get. The way I structured this course was, let me blow this up real quick. So if you wanna get the steps to join, pause the video now. But let me blow this up and explain to you how I structured the course, because I take a lot of pride in it and I don't actually talk about it enough. So the key way, you can see the reflection of me, nice. The key way that I structured this course was to first and foremost prioritize learning things in a way that you would be at the lowest possible risk of losing money with. And so I deliberately don't teach you how to physically like put in a trade until I've taught you good trading etiquette. So, and that's really important because most likely you're gonna learn good trading etiquette. Most likely. Either you're gonna learn it because you got screwed and you lost a lot of money, or you're gonna learn it because you were super smart and you bought one of our products and you're learning it the easy way. But you're gonna learn it. And so it's almost like I don't know how to say this. It's almost like like adults will parents will strap like their kids on a leash or something. That's how the course is at the beginning. It's almost this is terrible language to sell a product, but let's just run with this bad analogy for now. It's like putting a leash on you for trading, where you're physically like you're unable to fuck it up until you've learned how to not fuck it up. And that's an important part of how I structured the course. So crucially, to break it down, a lot of the time people will, run you through a concept, run you through all their beginner concepts right away. So everything that's a beginner thing to understand right at the bottom, then everything that's a little bit more intense, then everything that's a little bit more intense, and you get a pyramid. And so you're gradually going from beginner level skills to very advanced skills. And that's a good way to trade. It's a good way to learn how to trade, don't get me wrong. But the approach that I took was to run with a concept from the ground all the way up to the top, and then we start from the ground on the next concept. And the reason I'm doing that is that for the most part in these courses, there's not actually a lot that I need to teach. A lot of this stuff, actually, to be honest, most of you guys will know some of. A lot of the time, people don't tend to know enough of it, or they don't know it in the right depth or with the right ways. And so just these small tweaks, what you got to keep in mind is a small tweak in your understanding of a tool can completely change how you interact with that tool, and it can change you know, minus 20% positions to plus 60% positions. I mean, anyone who's had a good run in trading or a significant run in trading will know this, where very small tweaks can be what are responsible for massive runs in your trading performance. So that's why I drill so hard into the key things, because you've seen my analysis throughout this live stream. I've used nothing. Yeah, I've used the Ichimoku cloud and the VPVR, and that was it. And then diagonal lines, horizontal lines, boxes, that's it. I didn't use anything complicated. We're just making sure that you have a solid understanding of those things. And that's why actually it's like, this is why when someone asks me how quickly can I learn how to do TA, you can learn it inside of a day. I mean, the course content, the advanced course is over 10 hours long, but it's like, I don't know, 10 to 15 hours long. Get a lot of coffee, I don't know, Adderall, whatever, you can finish it in a day. You know, if you're sober, you can finish it in 2 days, easy. A week, easy. You know, it doesn't matter how many kids you have or how many jobs you're working. You can finish 10, 15 hours of content in a week. You know, that means, you know, you study it for 2 hours a day. You know, you can do that. You can do that in 2 weeks, in a month. And I would always implore people, even if you think you know what's going on, that you watch the full videos anyway, because you'll pick up some nuggets here and there, and that's what can be very valuable. So I think that's important. But that's how I structured the course. So we don't even teach you the mechanics of trading until you know how to not screw it up. I think that's why I take so much pride in it. And then you pair that with VIP access, where now you've learned everything I do. You've learned why I do it and how I do it. Now you can watch me implementing that in real time, because it's one thing to know it in theory, it's another thing to watch it with the practical happening right in front of your eyes when you and I both don't know what's going to happen. So I'm using the same information available to you. You can see how I'm speculating with that, and I think that's super powerful. So there we go, bam, right there. I take a lot of pride in that, and I know for a fact it's been one of the key reasons that so many VIP members have been able to see very nice, consistent profits, you know, while they're in, even after they leave. You know, a lot of the time people will join VIP, they'll get the benefits from it, they don't really need it anymore because they've learned how to trade safely, and they'll just leave. They don't need to be in there anymore, and that's absolutely great. So I'm very happy with that. Let's see what else we have in the comments though. So yeah, if you do want access to that stuff, then once again, the steps are on screen to join. This will take you to a direct chat with me where you can ask me for all the information about VIP and our courses and things like that. And like I said, most VIP members actually have access to one of our courses for free. So, and our yearly members, you get the advanced call for free plus phone calls with me. So, because if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken about this, but financial advice is actually allowed in this country, in the UAE. So that was a shock. I'm still not going to give financial advice, but it makes me a little bit more relaxed. Let's see what else we have in the comments. Thanks for this live and for the best crypto channel. Thank you very much. I have no thoughts on XVS, unfortunately. When I think altcoins will start moving, I think altcoins will start moving as soon as Bitcoin has cooled off a little bit and started becoming a bit boring. How much is the course? Devin, we've got 2 courses. One of them is $500. The other one is $2,700, although I keep saying the price for that needs to go up. I just haven't been bothered to raise the price yet. But the fact is, you can buy these courses standalone, but almost nobody does because we bundle them in with VIP and you get them so cheap or free. So you know, most people don't even buy them on their own, you know, because when you've got the combination of VIP plus the course, that's where the real magic is. You know, and you can choose to defer your entry into VIP. I mean, you can buy the package now, go through the course for a month, start your VIP term 2 months later. You know, like it's up to you. Where did I go with the moon and tone vase yesterday? I went to the Verde restaurant in Jumeirah here in Dubai, and it was absolutely great. It was very, very good. We had a great time. By the way, I want to show you guys something cool. I don't know how many of you guys will see this as cool, but I can change these lights. Look at this. So we've got orange here. We're gonna get red. Look at this. This is really cool. This is really, really cool. Let me look how dramatic this is getting now. Well, it's not very red, is it? No, it's not, because I've got this light, but anyway, I just thought that was cool. We don't need this light, do we? Yeah, it's better without. I'm sorry, I got kind of off topic there, off track. Let's see what other questions we have in the comments. If we have any more trading related questions and stuff like that as well, then please give them. If there's any particular charts you want me to look at that are not shitcoins, be happy to do that. Looks like we're in a small pullback right now. As for targets, because I know someone's about to ask, I think that, yeah, kind of dropping down to 54, maybe. Yeah, main support I'm seeing is 52 down to 50. But, I mean, we can have small retracements, so I don't think this is going to turn into a big one. If it does, it's fine, but I don't think it will. Every chart I'm seeing, people are longing. What are the arguments for being bearish in the short term? You know, I think, to be honest, there's not much justifying being bearish, and that's why the price is rising so well. It's important to take note. Everyone wants to be a contrarian because it sounds exciting, but there's a reason that bears are losing money and bulls are making money. The trend is bullish, you know, so it's almost like asking, all of this drinking water is clean, everyone's loving it and enjoying it and hydrating itself. What is the reason for me to expect that it's poisoned? And it's like, look, you can expect that it's poison and you can avoid the water and you can stay dehydrated. Everyone else is drinking it and they're fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I see this. It's a similar level of risk. I mean, obviously there is risk going long. Obviously there's risk buying. These people buying are benefiting a lot more than people being bearish right now. So I think that's important to keep in mind. I don't actually see any key arguments for being bearish in the short term. I don't. Other than the fact that we're trading right under the nose of our previous all-time high, I don't see much reason to expect that. My sales technique is bad, but being genuine, I think you get away with it. Thank you very much, Duncan. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Not necessarily trying to be a salesman here, just telling you what we've got with our products and how I designed them and why it's so beneficial. Results speak for themselves. If you like this analysis, then you know we're legit. And of course, being genuine, I think, is the biggest part of it. People love that. I love that. It's so much easier. So much easier. But yeah, let me make sure I'm not skipping any questions. Can I explain auto deleveraging? Nope, no idea what that is. Never heard of it. Sorry. Can 500 upgrade to 27? I don't handle that stuff. I think so. I'm not sure. I don't handle that stuff. My assistants take care of it. We've got like an operations director. I don't know, it doesn't matter. We don't really do titles. We just go by names in our team. So no one has a superior, exciting title in the team. But it's not me who handles that stuff. My accent is turning a bit American. I'm doing it for you because it's only the Americans awake now. Why Carl from the Moon doesn't help you to grow my YouTube channel? He does. Yeah, he gives me advice. He gives me a lot of advice. He's an amazing person. He's really cool. It's just that I don't want to follow his advice too much, you know? Like, one of the key things he told me is to have those facial expressions in my thumbnails, and I can't do it. I really can't. I can't bring... I did it once, and I can never do it again. You know, I mean, there's a lot that he's told me about, and no, he definitely does help. We're actually planning on doing a video together where we're going to be debating the idea of Bitcoin going to $1 million. He's going to say Bitcoin is going to $1 million. I'm going to say I think that's super unlikely, but I would love if it happens. And it's going to become heated because I started having this debate at the dinner table with Carl yesterday, Carl the Moon, and a sneak peek if you're curious. What it came down to is I said that if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, let me blow up my camera here. If Bitcoin ever goes to $1 million, that will require a lot of inflation. That inflation to the point where the US dollar would pretty much just collapse. That's how much inflation we would need for the price of Bitcoin to get to $1 million. So this is what I pointed out. I was like, if you think that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, that would probably require the US dollar to collapse and every other major fiat currency in the world to collapse. And his response was, yeah, I think that's going to happen. Tone Vase probably thought the same thing. I don't know, I'm not making assumptions here, but most crypto guys do. And that's fine, but that's a big stretch. It's a big stretch to imagine that a real world reserve currency is just going to collapse. It could happen, has never happened, could happen. But the point is, and this is the other point that I made leading on from that, if the US dollar did collapse, you're not going to be thinking about Bitcoin. You're going to be worried that your neighbor is going to murder you for some bread. Like, there's going to be war, it's going to be terrible, there's going to be crime everywhere, you're not going to be safe, life is going to be shit for the wealthy and for the poor. I mean, it's not a win-win. And this is where I think crypto personalities really step out of reality, where for some reason they visualize a world where the dollar collapses, but Bitcoin rises and nothing else. There's no other consequence to the dollar collapsing other than Bitcoin pumping up. And that's just not realistic. If Bitcoin's going to go that high, world currencies will need to collapse because, I mean, by default, these investments go up just because of inflation. I mean, you know, like, what kind of level of inflation are we talking about, you know, for this to happen? It's unrealistic to begin with. And then even if it did happen, you know, would your power grid still be running? Would you still get electricity? What about your network provider? How would the people who run your Wi-Fi network feed their family and show up to work if they can't afford food because they don't have Bitcoin? You know, like, what are you gonna do with your Bitcoins now when there's a fucking power cut? Like, come on, like, it doesn't make sense to me. And I've never heard a convincing argument that that goes in the opposite direction of this. It's just so unrealistic. That's the problem, in my opinion, with those ideas. You know, so I'm not ruling it out because anything is possible, but I definitely don't think that it's likely. And you know, the crucial thing that I end these things with, and I will say this on the debate as well, is I'm not a fundamental analyst. I am not a macroeconomic expert. I am not. I'm 19. I'm a kid. You know, like, I'm not experienced in this stuff. And so there are certain things like this Bitcoin to $1 million discussion that, for the most part, I'll shut up about, and I will let smarter people talk about. Tone Vase, Carl the Moon. These are people who are smarter than me. I will let them talk about it. I will let them discuss it because they've done more research. They've seen more than me. They've lived more life than me in relevant areas. I will let them carry out these discussions, and I will do what I'm good at. I'm happy to hold Bitcoin as a passive investment because it's printing money. These guys have turned out to be right about levels like 50K, which I also didn't expect. And I'm trading Bitcoin on the way up. I'm accumulating more Bitcoins, and then Bitcoin is rising. You know, I can't accurately convey to you how powerful that is, where you're riding the wave of an asset that's doubled in the past couple of months, and your only job is to keep accumulating more of it. So even though the asset doubled, I might have benefited by like 3 or 4x just because I accumulated more Bitcoins through my trading. That's my goal. So so that's my view here on that topic, and that's why I don't think we're hitting $1 million for Bitcoin. A lot of the time, it's just not realistic, in my opinion. The reflection on my spectacles is quite distracting. Can I please get new spectacles? It's not my glasses. It's just the lighting, and Unfortunately, like, you don't want me without glasses. I look super weird. I can't do anything about it. The only thing I can do is look down, and this looks kind of weird. I don't like it. I wish I didn't have to deal with this, but you thought Carl was like 14? No, he is, I think he's like 20. Actually, I shouldn't say, but he's in his, if he wants to reveal, you can ask him himself, but he's in his 20s. So, I'm not gonna say his exact age, just in case he doesn't want me to. This is why we watch you, and why we'll enjoy many more years of your channel. Thank you very much. Yeah, 100%. This is what I'm about. It's about being more grounded. You know, I am a little bit more of a pessimist compared to these other guys, but I still love Bitcoin. You know, I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream that I've been stressed out today, and I'm not gonna go into why too much, but a big part of it was dealing with banking problems, and I wouldn't have any of those problems if people used Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like, banks are legacy. They run the legacy systems. They're terrible. They're slow. They're absolutely stone age compared to something like Bitcoin. Get a polarizing filter for my glasses? Not possible. Do you mean for my camera? I can do that. Would it work if can I just stick it onto my webcam? Would that work? Someone's unsubscribing. Bye. But by the way, if you are enjoying this, then please do subscribe. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button if you appreciate this realism as well, because I know you guys do. 100%. I mean, this is why you're here instead of watching a moon boy. This is about being more realistic. 100%. Do I or have I ever used bots? Of course. Yeah. You mean to trade, right? Not for YouTube, as far as I can remember. I don't think so. But for trading, 100%. Yeah, I've used bots. Didn't like them. Not good. Not useful. If I am a pessimist in a bull market, what am I like in a bear winter? Fortunately, I'm largely unaffected because I insulate myself from big crashes, and I only focus on accumulating more Bitcoin. So even in the big crypto winters, I need a new haircut. Look at how quickly my hair grows. Even in the crypto winters, I wasn't too worried. Not really at any point. FORFLIES, have I ever debated that I might be too pessimistic? Not saying, but just asking. I don't think I'm a pessimist though, because I do think that Bitcoin is set to rise. Oh, this was another funny thing. When I met with Carl, I told him, look, I'm not a Bitcoin bear, but I don't think it's going to $1 million, but I do think it's going to 100K. And he's just like, no, you're bearish. You're a bear. It's like, there's no winning with you guys. Like, I'm super optimistic about Bitcoin. I love it. I love using it more than anything else. But I want to keep it realistic is my point. But yeah, that's an important little segue I wanted to make in the analysis there about the discussion of Bitcoin to $1 million, and I think that if we do that debate, a lot of you guys will enjoy it. Obviously, there's just pure love between us, but I think that will get pretty heated and it will be super fun. Chengpin, you like my videos? It's 5 a.m. in my time zone. I don't miss your live streams. That's so cool. That's amazing. So actually, you would probably prefer the live streams to be earlier. Where are you? Where are you? Is it China? Like the east of China? Lots of people mistake realistic for pessimism. Yeah, because they kind of go hand in hand, to be honest, in some ways. Definitely. Someone's asked me to go back to the analysis. Thing is, nothing has changed with the analysis. If you're new to the live stream, then please just rewind the video. I carry out all of my core analysis within the first 10 to 30 minutes of the live stream. After that, I'm answering your questions and we're talking about bigger topics. That's how I do these live streams. I do need to get going very soon, actually. I haven't even seen the time, but I want to take a few final questions if you have any. How low do I think this correction will drop? I don't know. I wouldn't expect it to drop further than 52K. I wouldn't expect it to drop further than 50K altogether. However, the thing is, there's not really any support in this range. There's no resistance in this range, and so equally, I don't really see there being any support. So it could come crashing down really hard, or it could just stop right here. And I almost think you can just flip a coin. You know, I mean, there's no good way that I can see that I can predict where a bounce might be. You know, I mean, there's a little bit of consolidation around this range, so I don't know what price level is this, like 55,000. It's a nice round number. Maybe we bounce off there. A little bit of consolidation around, what is this, 53, 54,000. Maybe we bounce off there because of that. But it's too hard for me to say. There's not enough. Can me, Carl, and Crypto do a live stream together? No, because Crypto is in Mexico and we are in Dubai. However, I should get Carl on one of these live streams. I might bring him into the Burj Khalifa office. Just have him side by side with me. This is how we did it with Tone Vase the other day. It would be really cool if I could organize, you know, like side by side, Tone Vase, Carl, myself. Crypto Jack is in the Maldives right now, but I think as far as quite popular YouTubers, am I missing anyone? As far as popular Bitcoin traders in Dubai, I think it's just us three. I might be mistaken. But if there's anyone else, try and get them all in one place. We'll do a big live stream. I think that would be really cool. I know they would be down for it. We've already talked about those kind of ideas. So I think Bitcoin is going to 100K and that's it. No, I don't know. That's not my job. This is the point, Dennis. Like, I'm not a fundamental analyst, and I'm not a long-term analyst either. So I certainly think it can go to 100K because we only breached the all-time high 3 months ago, which usually indicates that there's a lot more upward price action coming, and this trend is very strong, so that would indicate that we could go significantly higher. I don't know when it's going to stop. Not really my thing to call. I'm just here, like I said, to accumulate more Bitcoins and ride the wave up as it goes up. I will ask smarter people to answer questions like how high will it go until it tops out, because I don't know. Do I use logarithmic charts? Only to add some more perspective. Peter Schiff expects a crash for Bitcoin. Yeah, but he's a funny one. I don't want to talk bad about him because he's a nice guy. He speaks a lot of good stuff too. He's just an idiot around Bitcoin, unfortunately. Teach all of them how to do great TA. I don't think I can teach much to Carl or Tone Vase. Their TA is pretty good. What's my Bitcoin prediction 10 years from now? I mean, like I said, Chris, I have no idea. I don't even know if Bitcoin will exist in 10 years. I have no idea. I couldn't say. Mo? Mo? Who's Mo? Do I know Mo? Crypto YouTuber named Mo? Rings a bell. Any final questions before I head off? I am going to be going relatively soon. Please hit up the likes and things like that if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed this analysis and these thoughts and you want more of it. As usual, to make sure that you get the notifications when I'm starting a live stream, click on the first link in the description down below. That's going to take you to our free Telegram channel, where we'll give you notifications about our live streams along with some more exclusive analysis in video form from our new team member and more insights into my trades and things like that. If you want to join VIP, then it'll be with the other two boxes, red boxes right here. It's a German YouTuber? Do you mean Moritz? Moritz is also not in Dubai. Moritz is also in Mexico. Moritz is the young guy, right? I look older than Carl. I'm not. He's quite a bit older. He was in Dubai in my hotel? How do you know which hotel I was staying in? I don't think so. I don't stay in the same hotels as these crypto guys. They're suggesting a conference like Zoom video call with Crypto, Da Vinci Moon. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, 100%. If I'm invited as the least excited Moon boy. If I'm invited, I'll 100% do it as well. Where's the fountain show tonight? Steven, it's 1:30 a.m. here, so the fountain shows stop at about 11 on weekdays. Thanks for being realistic. Thank you for tuning in. My pleasure. Want to take any final questions? Moritz? Yeah, he's the young guy. Yeah, Moritz is cool. But he's in Mexico. So yeah, unless we're doing a Zoom, we can't get us in one place. Did I try Fibonacci retracement? I wouldn't really want to draw a Fibonacci retracement on this chart right now. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, I guess I could. Let's see what this says. Okay, so it's indicating that there's some support at 54.7. Actually, this is a pretty good Fibonacci retracement. It lines up right at the top of my box. But I don't want to. I don't think it's too important. I wouldn't look. I don't know. Like, there's no good bounce zone in this range because there's no support. There's no resistance, which means there's no support. We gotta be fair. If there's no resistance, that means there's no support. So there's not really any particular range that I'm expecting a bounce. Could I check XRP? Nope. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna head off. I hope you have enjoyed this live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. And more videos coming soon, more shortened videos. Bear with me, there's a lot that I'm dealing with. My personal life is pretty hectic right now. But as soon as I ironed out a couple things, there's some pretty cool expansions that are coming. And I'm very excited for it. So stay tuned. Once again, I want to give a shout out to SwissBorg for pulling a 5x return for me since I first started talking about it on this channel less than 2 months ago. Pulled a 5x return. So very, very cool. Yesterday I said that I would give a sneak peek of the view from my window with my other camera. Can we get that view? Yes, I was wondering if somebody would ask. Let me just want to make sure I can show you this and I'm not gonna reveal anything I shouldn't, but I think it's okay. So here is, oh, this looks super weird. Here is a sneak peek of, this is my editing software. Here's a sneak peek of a video that I'm recording, and this is recorded with this camera. So it's a pretty good camera. It's a small one. It's a mirrorless camera. That's why it's so small. But this lens on it, this one right here, any camera guys, you guys will know this is a pancake lens. f1.7. So what that basically means is it looks bloody spectacular. Look at all the bokeh. This is called bokeh. See, when lights blur out and they become really Instagrammable. Look at this. This is called bokeh. And having a pancake lens is how you do. So the reason I know this stuff, if you're curious, is because I used to be really into like videography and stuff. If you look at the content that used to be on this channel before trading, it was tech reviews using this camera. I would just review smartphones and laptops and stuff. So I learned a lot, and it's really cool. There's even a really cool transition, which I'm super proud of, but I shouldn't show it. Yeah, I'll show it to you. It doesn't matter. You've stuck around this long. You deserve to see it. So let me find where that thing was, because it was really, really cool. Right here. Bear with. This is really cool. Look at this. I'm so proud of it. So I'm talking, I'm listing off some stuff, and then this transition pops up. Look at that. Oh wow, look at that. That's so cool. That's so cool. And then I'm just talking, and then it disappears. So when I say we're upgrading stuff, you know I mean it. I'm super proud of it. Anyway, that's enough. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be cool. I'm certainly excited, as you can tell. What is the model? This camera is a Lumix G7, Panasonic Lumix G7. It's super cheap. I bought it when I was 14. It's the first thing I bought when I made money on YouTube. And because I've been running this YouTube channel for like 10 years now. That makes me feel old, fucking hell. Yeah, nearly 10 years I've been running this channel. It's $600. So I don't know what the millimeter is, like how much it zooms. Obviously it's a pancake lens, so it doesn't zoom. 20 millimeter? I'm not sure. But it's a pancake lens. I mean, you would have it for the low f-stop. That's what's exciting for me. F-stops allows you to have a shallow depth of field, which creates the blurred background. Yeah, exactly. So I was super lucky to learn this stuff super young. It was really, really fun to learn this stuff on the job, so to speak, as a YouTuber. It was very fun. Yeah, it is 20 millimeter, 0.2 m. I don't actually. That's not 20 meter. I need to. I don't have enough light. That's the problem. Let me turn on this light. It doesn't say. It says 0.2 m, but that implies 20 centimeters. 20 centimeters is what? It's 200 millimeters, right? You can tell how young I am. Just from the fact that I'm so stupid. But yeah, it doesn't say. Not that I've really cared. But yeah, if you guys do want a nice budget camera for video, this one's great. Really, really cool. And what I would like to do ideally is hook up this camera with my live streams, but it's a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. Costs a lot of money, so it actually might be cheaper to buy a new camera. And crucially, this is pretty good. I mean, it's not like I need an upgrade anytime soon. You said, I think it's more likely for Bitcoin to shoot up not just a tiny bit higher, but a lot higher. What price do I think it will shoot up to before a pullback? 70K. Yeah, I outlined this towards the beginning. Low ISO too, yeah, 100%. So lower the f-stop. Like I said, mine's 1.7. Other cameras might be like 4.0. The lower it is, the more light it brings in, which means that you don't need to compensate for a lack of light by increasing the exposure. That's the easiest way to describe ISO. Exposure means like brightness, if you didn't get that either. So it's pretty good. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm gonna head off. This is super irrelevant now. I gotta get going. It's 1:30 a.m. Hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff. If you want to get into the best place to learn about how to trade, gain access to a bunch of really, really useful content, the steps to join VIP are on screen right here as well. And one final time, if you are interested in signing up to Phemex, which is one of the primary places that I'm trading these markets, then there is a link to Phemex in the description for you to sign up with as well. It will also grant you a deposit bonus. So when you sign up with that link, it'll give you some extra free money to play with as soon as you make a deposit. And that can be money that you use to experiment with the exchange, get to know what the buttons are. You can also watch my tutorial on Phemex by typing Phemex FORFLIES into the YouTube search bar. Crucially, this exchange does not require KYC. Only takes 30 seconds to sign up. It's worth having a backup, 100%. So that's the note I want to end this on. It's on the note of protecting yourself from downtime and any random issues that can come up as a result of having all your eggs in one basket. This is why I always say it's a solid idea to have as many accounts as possible on as many solid, respectable exchanges as possible. And Phemex is one that I consider to be great. I work with them, I love them, and I'm sure you will as well. All right, so thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Kim. Interesting video. Thank you, Farzana. See you all in the next one. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.